This was a powerful video for me. Verbal and emotional abuse, y'all. Talking about it. Verbal and emotional abuse. Check out the video now. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video of Our Children Matter channel. YouTube channel, hit that like, subscribe, and share button down below in the description below. If you want to like and follow my pages on social media, please do, because the next few videos are going to be out of this world. They're going to be top-notch topics to discuss and talk about, just like this one. Okay, so let's get into it. Today we're going to talk about emotional and verbal abuse. Verbal and emotional abuse. So let's look at it. Okay, let's look at it. Okay. It says, what happens after years of emotional abuse? Children who have been subjected to emotional abuse may continue to feel its effects into adulthood. These effects could include extremely low self-esteem, seeking bad relationships, and other physical and mental effects. There are resources available for people who experience emotional abuse to seek help. I always tell people, when you're going through a mental health crisis or a mental health problem, or if you know someone that's going through a mental health issue or circumstance or situation, always seek help. You always want to seek help with that person, okay? It's always better and good to help that person do better and to live better, knowing that you can help them out by getting them help, okay? All right, so it makes you have extremely low self-esteem, seeking bad relationships, and other physical mental health effects, okay? So let's look at the short-term effects of emotional abuse. What is it? Well, confusion, fear, hopelessness, and shame. You feel shamed, you feel confused, you don't know what the heck is going on. You feel aggravated, you feel boxed in. You feel fearful for your life because someone decided to say something negative about you. All these different type of emotions start, especially if they're name calling you, teasing you, or picking on you, and you just really don't know what to do about that situation, and they're like literally going at you, constantly, verbally abusing, like talking your ear off 24/7, 24 hours a day, and they don't really get the real recognition that you should, because they think it's okay to talk to you any kind of way, but they shouldn't. Okay, so let's look at this. Okay, so emotional abuse can lead to a type of PTSD that involves ongoing trauma. PTSD shows many of the symptoms as PTSD, although the symptoms and causes can differ, but treatment should be tailored to the situation to address the ongoing trauma person experienced from emotional abuse. Okay, let me give you an example. Emotional abuse can involve many of the following. Verbal abuse. The person is definitely yelling at you. They're insulting you. They're swearing at you. Rejection. If you go back into my YouTube channel and look up that rejection video that I did at least 5 or 6 months ago, you would see that I talked about rejection and how rejection can be hurtful to your mental status, to your mental state. Rejection is hurtful. It's nothing polite about rejection. So it says, constantly rejecting your thoughts, ideas, and opinions, gaslighting you, making you doubt your own feelings and thoughts, even your sanity, by manipulating the truth. They manipulate the truth about you. They're talking about you, they're verbally abusing you, and they say you're doing something, and you say you're not that type of person, but yet and still they keep on saying it because they feel okay. They feel entitled to talk down to you. Nobody should have to feel that way, okay? So make sure that make sure nobody's yelling at you or insulting your intelligence or making you feel any type of certain way because of the simple fact that it makes them feel entitled to do that. And you shouldn't be with someone in a relationship that they feel entitled to do that, because it's not okay. That's not okay. Okay, so it says, how does verbal abuse affect a person? What are the effects of emotional and verbal abuse? Staying in an emotional and a verbal abusive relationship can have long-lasting effects on your physical and mental health, including leading to chronic pain, depression, and anxiety. All of these things I have talked about on my channel. I've talked about depression and anxiety, but I am going to get to a subject where I'm going to talk about chronic pain and chronic illnesses. Okay, so look out for that video on my YouTube channel coming up. Okay, so what are the effects of emotional and verbal abuse? Staying in an emotional or verbal abusive relationship can have long-lasting effects. If you keep staying in that relationship over and over and over again and going back to that abusive wife or going back to that abusive husband. Now, let me tell you something. It's not always, it's 90% of the time, it's the man that's doing the verbal and abusive relationship emotionally. Yes, it's the man. But it takes two to make a relationship go bad, so that you have the man and the woman. The man can also be verbally and emotionally abused. You can talk down to your man. You could say, "Oh, you're nothing. You don't have more money," and it just different stuff, little things can make the relationship go bad. Between you and him, your words and his words can have an effect on both of you, emotionally and verbally. So you got to be careful. Both men and women can be verbally and emotionally abusive. Okay, so it's not just one. Okay. All right. Can verbal abuse cause anxiety? The effects of verbal abuse are serious. Verbal abuse can cause fear, anxiety, depression, stress, PTSD, memory gap disorders, difficulty sleeping, eating problems, hypervigilance, and substance abuse, as well as other self-harming behaviors. Wow. Verbal abuse is very, very serious, y'all. Verbal abuse is very, very serious, okay? What does emotional abuse do to the brain? According to the New York University Medical Center, chronic stress resulting from emotional abuse and or other kind of trauma releases cortisol, a stress hormone which can damage and affect the growth of the hippocampus, which is the part of the brain, the main area of the brain associated with learning and memory. So it could cause trauma in your brain. It could make you lose potentially your brain activity in your brain, your hippocampus, which is the main part of your brain. It can make you cause trauma, and it could have very, very serious side effects to your brain. Okay, so that's something to take in light of the situation. Okay, that's something to take in light of. Okay, so what is the difference between mental and emotional abuse? Let's talk about it. Both types of abuse can also cause intense harm to the victim's mental health. This channel is all about mental health. However, the distinguishing factor between the two psychological abuses, stronger effects on the victim's mental capacity, while the emotional abuse affects what people feel, psychological abuse affects what people think. That is so important, because not only are you getting verbally abused, which can affect your side effects of your brain, your hippocampus, because what they're saying to you, your brain is processing that. Does that make sense? Your brain is processing what that verbal abuse, what they're spewing out of their mouth about you, which can be critical and harmful to your brain, the side effects in your brain, because your brain is actually processing what they're saying about you. You're nothing, you're scum, you're if they're cursing at you or swearing at you, your brain is processing all that, and it's targeting your mental and your emotional state, which is two different things, and your psychological awareness. Okay, so let me read that again. So it says both types of abuse can also cause intense harm to the victim's mental health. Both can. Your mental and emotional abuse can affect that person's mental health. Both of them can, because they're both tied together. Your mental and emotional state is always tied together. What's in your heart and your mind are always connected. Your brain and heart is always connected. Your brain is telling what your body to do. Your brain is the most important thing in your body. It's telling everything in your body what to do. Raise your hand, lift your hand, nod your head, shake your head, roll your neck. It's telling you everything in your body that you have to do. So the brain is important. Okay? So it says, however, the distinguishing factor between the two is psychological abuse is stronger effects on the victim's mental capacity. So psychological abuse is strongly effective. Okay, they're messing with your mental state, your mental capacity. Okay, emotional abuse affects what people feel. Okay, psychological abuse affects what people think. That's where suicide comes in. Okay, it's affecting what you think, what your thought pattern, your thought process. What are you thinking in that time that you're being emotionally and verbally abused? What are you thinking? Are you thinking about killing yourself? It's there. It can happen. It's a thought pattern. Whatever you're thinking, your thinking space, your thinking capacity is affected by what you're going through in that relationship or in that situation or trauma. Whatever you're going through, that is affected. Okay? Okay, so let's look at a couple more. Is verbal abuse traumatic? The report suggests that verbal abuse is constant and severe. It creates a risk of post-traumatic stress disorder, the same type of psychological collapse experienced by combat troops in Iraq. Okay, so verbal abuse is consistent and it's severe. It's constant and severe. It's very, very severe. Okay? It says, all right, last one. It says, what is worse, verbal or physical abuse? The damage left behind by verbal and emotional abuse can be just as bad, if not worse in some cases, than the physical injuries which generally heal. There is danger in the unseen emotional damage as it contributes to many physical health conditions, PTSD, addiction, self-harm, and depression. Bingo. It says the damage left behind by verbal and emotional abuse can be just as bad, if not worse, in some cases than the physical injuries seen on a body or a victim. So you see, physical abuse, nobody should tolerate that at all. You shouldn't be hitting men or women. It shouldn't be tolerated. But the emotional and the verbal abuse, your physical injuries of your physical abuse can heal over time. Not to say that I don't care about those people that go through physical abuse, which is terrible. I think it's wrong. It's very, very wrong. Don't get me wrong. But that emotional and verbal abuse that you endured and suffered through that relationship, that has long-lasting effects that you need help now. That's something that cannot wait. That's something that doesn't go away. That's permanent. That's something that needs to be addressed now, in that moment. Okay? So, I thank y'all so much for watching. Let's do one more. One more. I feel entitled to do one more. It says, how do you heal from emotional abuse? Processing trauma and ongoing triggers is essential for victims seeking healing. It is especially helpful for victims to have a safe network of supportive people that you can turn to when they need to talk, cry, ask questions, or share experiences. You need to get to the part where you need to process the whole entire thing. Process it. Seek healing. Seek the person or friendships that you have in your life that are true and genuine. Those people, those friendships that are true and genuine to you in your life. Seek those people out for guidance. For if you need to cry on them, a shoulder to cry on that shoulder. If you need to ask questions or share experiences about your emotional and verbal abuse, sometimes talking about it can help you. So talk about it. Don't hold it inside, because then that will have more effects to your body, to your physical and mental state, than it is just keeping it inside. Okay, you decide to keep it in. Let's say if you decide to keep it all in, you're going through mental and psychological trauma all over again, because you can have flashbacks. You're not going to be able to sleep, eat, or do anything. Like I said previously in the video, you're not going to be able to do none of that. So it's best to talk about it. And there's also therapy. Therapy can also help. Those psychological therapists can help. Okay, so I thank you guys for watching this video. Please click like, share, and comment in this video, and I will talk to you guys soon. Remember, this YouTube channel is for mental health topic discussions. If you have any topics that you want me to discuss, put it in that comment section below, and I will definitely get back to you for the next few videos for the next few months. Give me some topics to talk about. There's plenty of topics out here to talk about. So let's engage, let's talk, and have that discussion. I love you all. God bless you. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. And don't go messing up anybody else's. All right. Love you.